And we're going to do a quick screen share, and then I'm going to show you. So I'm not right now walking you through how to set up your ads manager. That will be part of what I share, but not in this video, because I'm going to assume you already have this, or if you haven't yet created your lead magnet, do that, and then we'll look at actually setting up your ads manager. All right, so screen share this. Perfect. Okay, so I found the magic sauce here. So I have two screens, and I have to, if I'm going to be sharing screen, it has to be on the screen that has my Zoom also open. All right, so you can see my ads manager. I've got a bunch of different ads here. We're going to create, and I like to name mine. And so we're going to do a lead generation. So what you want to do is choose you're going to use some basic presets. So buying type, always auction. You can choose different things here. So if we're wanting to just create awareness, you can do that. Traffic, engagement, get more messages, leads. So the ones that I tend to use are leads or sales, okay? Because we're doing a simple conversion, and we're giving a strategic freebie, I'm going to do leads. Let's have a bit. Okay. And now I have this lovely thing that helps make my life easier. If you have it, you can absolutely use it. If not, go through manual setup. And so I'll show you that. Okay. And so you want to start, and there's three different components to your campaign. So campaign is the largest, and then it goes down to ad set, and then it goes down to ad. So I'm just going to go back here and show you that again. So I'll X out of this so you can see it. Actually, let's give it a name first. Oh, no, it's okay. It's right there. So up here, you can see the tab that says campaigns. Yeah, for this new leads campaign, let's see if there's any ad sets. Yep, we haven't named it yet. We haven't set it up. And then there's ad. Okay, so the campaign is like the overarching thing. The ad set is really like how we divide out different audiences. And then the ads are if we're wanting to test different ads within an audience. And so I know that can sound a little bit complicated, but we'll keep it simple. And we don't really want to test more than two things at any given time, because otherwise, how do we test them against each other? If we have like three things, it can be hard to know what's working and why. So let's go back in here. All right, so I'm gonna say level 1. So that's like cold traffic, right? It's people that you haven't met yet. If you're doing retargeting, that would be level 2. We're gonna do conversions because that's the intent of this. And then let's say we're doing I'll just call it strategic freebie. Strategic freebie. And I can even create a template out of this if I want, and then I can use that in the future. And so you don't really need to do much there. We're doing leads, going down. This is where you can test against other things. And like if you wanted to do one versus the other, you could do that there. I would avoid it. I'm just going to keep it simple right now. All right, so now we've gone down a level. We started in the campaign section. We're now in the ad set. So this is where we're going to set up the audience. And so I'm going to do audience 1. Well, let's pick one from our, okay. We're going to pick one from the workbook. I'm going to choose, I want something easy, spiritual. Okay, spiritual. So that's just going to be one type of audience. I can make multiple audiences, and I'll show you how to do that. So this is that instant forms thing I was talking to you about. So I'll mention that again in another video. But for now, we're going to do website. So we want to do a conversion. And so a conversion is when somebody clicks on it, where do they go? What actually happens? And so a conversion event is really important. So if somebody sees your ad, you want them to take an action, and the action that you want them to take is one of these things, right? So typically, if you're going to a sales page, it'll be a website. Instant forms is another option as well, and that's within Facebook. And so just so you know, like this will go across Facebook and Instagram if you've got that set up properly. So typically I will always choose, it depends on what we're looking to do. So for me, I want the most amount of information to start with. So I want either to choose landing page views or link clicks. And so if I choose this conversion option, it might limit the information that Facebook is going to give me. And then if I wanted to retarget to the people who took this action, my pool of people will be really limited. And so I typically will choose the landing page views one, okay? Ignore this, don't put anything in there. And then, so I mentioned, right, we could do $5 per day. So you will be doing a budget per day per audience. So I just want to be really mindful of that. So if you have a budget of say $10 a day, you could do $5 per audience if you're doing 2 audiences. If you do $5 per day for an audience and you do like 3 ads, it spreads it out between those ads. So I hope that makes sense. So we're defining the budget for this one audience. Okay. Can leave pretty much everything else set there until we get down to here. So remember I said we also want to include United States. We want to include United Kingdom. And we want to include Australia. All right. And then you can click on show more options. So I like to do an age starting at 20 to 25. And if I have custom audiences, I could use those here. I'm just double checking that I didn't miss anything here. No, location's good, minimum age, perfect. If you need to specify language, you can absolutely do that here. So you can see it's already starting to show me things. The only consideration is, like, so right now my estimated audience size is like a lot. It's fairly broad. I want to be more specific, right? So we can go with an audience suggestion if we want to, or we can actually create our own audience. So I'm just going to create the information here. Perfect. So we're creating a new custom audience. Okay, I would not go above 60. This is again where you could choose gender, language, and this is where the magic is. So this is where we get to start to detail. And so we're going to browse by adding in each of those demographics. So I'm going to just take a peek at, I said the spiritual, right? So we're going to add Brene Brown. So just start typing in, click on that. Louise Hay, add in that. How about Brendan Bouchard? Oh, it's not Brendan, it's Brennan, isn't it? Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. Oh, interesting, maybe it's not available now. That's okay. Elizabeth Gilbert, or I could just be spelling it wrong. So I'll look that up after. And then Byron Katie. Awesome. So this is spiritual. This is a great demographic. So you can see it dropped it quite a bit. But now what it's going to do is target people with these interests. And so that means that you're going to be putting your lead magnet or your ad out in front of them in particular. Okay, just making sure all things are still a go there. All right. Okay, and then we can save this audience if we want. So I'm going to call this audience spiritual. Let's go save this audience spiritual. Okay, so super simple, and then I can go search for that whenever I want to use that audience again. Super helpful. And then we go next, and so now we're going to go down to the next level. So you can see up here, we've already created 2 components of this. So we've got the overall campaign, which is basically like your file folder. And then you've got your ad set, which is your audience. And then we go down to the actual ad. So now we get to create our ad. And so if you've got multiple ads, I would name them. The funny thing that Facebook does is it adds like to the top. So if you're doing 2 ads, I would start with ad 2 because then it's just ordered nicely. So if you're doing, we'll just say one ad, so strategic, just say freebie, whatever that is. I'm just going to delete this afterwards anyways. Okay, so this is where you want to make sure that you've got both your Facebook page and your Instagram account selected, because that's going to spread your ad out over both. And it's really helpful to do that. So it will maximize the number of conversions and also the people who are in both of those audiences. So we want to add an image or ad. It could be the carousel, it could be a video. So this is where you get to choose that. Keep multi-advertiser ads selected. And this is where we add in our image. So I'm just going to add in one that I already have so that you can see it, and then we can play with it a little bit. So this is a really highly converting image and ad. So free workbook, ChatGPT prompts, super high converting for me. So anything that's above like a 10% conversion is really good. When I first launched this, is actually at like almost 50%. So that meant like once people actually came to the site, at least 50% were basically signing up, giving me their email in exchange. Now it's like hovering around 30%. Okay, so I would suggest that you keep original for all of it. Like you see how it's already kind of preset for you? Keep it like that. Click next. And then I like to use as many of the optimizations as possible. If you are using Instagram as well, you definitely want to use the audio. This is the only one that I would change. Okay, so because you don't know what kind of music they're suggesting, so let's just hear what they're suggesting. That's okay. That's okay. But it's not like one of my ads, it actually provided Christmas music, and I was like, no. So you can actually choose songs for you, and this is what will show up in most people's stories. So just keep it like that. Perfect. And so it's really important that you do optimize as much as possible. Facebook has done a lot to make your life easier, and you want to take advantage of that. Okay. So I've got all of that in there. You can see it's partially optimized, but it's good. And this is where you're going to put in the primary text. So this is where your ad text goes, your caption goes. And so again, in the lead magnet system, I give you all of that information. And if you wanted to put in multiple different text options, you can. Again, I wouldn't want you to test too many different options. If you're going to do a second text option, I would actually create a second ad, because you want to test it against the other one first. And it's important to have some headline, because in some placements, that's what shows up. So it could be like free download. And so you can see it could show up there. All right. And you can put in a description if you'd like, but you don't need to. Call to action, learn more is great. Download is good as well. So both are helpful, just depending on what you're looking to do. I wouldn't do much more than that. And this is where you put in your website. So whatever the sales pages that you're going to, that you want them to go to, or if it's something different, like if you're hosting on your website and like whatever it is that you need. But you want it to go to some place where you can actually, again, trade their email for the freebie, right? For the freebie or the strategic offer. So make sure that you've got that set up first. Great, so I'm just gonna go like this so that you can see how it shows up. So it'll show up right there. You can put a different display, like whatever the text is in there, because sometimes the website URLs are kind of funky looking, so you can simplify it. All right, and okay, so this can be really helpful to track. So you want to track website events. And so if you don't have a conversion pixel in there yet, you need to do that. And so again, I'll be going through each of these things on like how to set up a pixel. It will take some time because that's a lot of information and I just want to get you going here. I'm not going to publish this because otherwise it's going to start to charge me. Like it's going to go into an approval process and then we're going to start to be charged. So that's essentially all of the steps that you need to set up your ad. So again, that campaign is the big one, right? This is what we just created. If you click next to that, it's going to show you just the ad sets and the ads for that one. All right, so when I go into there, and I click ad sets, I will see the audience that I've created, spiritual, and I can see the ad that I've created right there. And this is where all the magic is in terms of the review. So I said, right, give it 7 days to see what's happening. You'll start to see a lot of important information come in here. And you can see your budgets here. You can see your cost per result. You can see how often it's shown to each person, total amount spent. I always do ongoing. Will give us a quality ranking. So how is this doing? And the great thing about Facebook ads now is that it does offer suggestions for improvement whenever that might be relevant. Okay, so all of these, like these names are also included in that glossary that I provided you with. So if you're unsure what they mean, then you can check that out. Okay, so I know it can look a little bit overwhelming when you start, but it's super fun. If you've got $35 to $50 just to get going, just to try it out, it can be a ton of fun and you'll get a lot of value out of it. So I'm just looking for there we go, stop share. Perfect. All right, so that was a lot of information. I've already been chatting for half an hour and it went by so quickly because it does move quite quickly. If you are wanting to set up an ad, definitely use this process. Make sure your lead magnet is set first. If you want help creating ads or you want help doing funnels, that I do those as one-on-one work. So that's not part of the membership. The membership is something that you do, you're empowered to do it on your own. But this information lives here for you. It's going to be available for you. And we're going to close the live now. Any questions that you have, please reach out. Sending you lots and lots of love.